Good afternoon, everyone. This is an update on Hurricane Julia that is approaching Nicaragua here in the next 24 hours, bringing those hurricane impacts and also more tropical storm impacts on the western coast of Nicaragua, going into El Salvador, then entering the East Pacific. As you can see here, I am back, which means the daily uploads are gonna be back for a while here. And as you can see, as we're looking at right now, we are looking at the infrared satellite imagery, and this is Hurricane Julia. It just became a hurricane about a few minutes ago as I'm making this video, about 6:30 p.m. Central Daylight Time. You have a bunch of convection, a lot of circulation, as you can see here, with winds about 75 miles per hour, which does make it that Category 1 hurricane, and it is going to bring those hurricane impacts to Nicaragua. We do have those hurricane warnings out for Nicaragua right there, and we also have some of those islands east of Nicaragua also under that hurricane warning. This is not updated, but we did get a hurricane status a bit ago, but it's still saying as a tropical storm. It is a hurricane now, and as you can see, around just tonight, so overnight tonight, it does make landfall in Nicaragua, then weakening back into a tropical storm, eventually making it to around 2 a.m. Monday. That's eventually going to be weakening back into a tropical depression, which that'll be entering the Eastern Pacific, which that's more tropical development possible, although it looks to be heading a little more northward. So likely this is not going to redevelop into another storm in the Eastern Pacific. We will have to watch it as it enters there. But 2 a.m. Monday, again, we do have those tropical storm warnings out for El Salvador and a lot of western Nicaragua there for those west coast. As you can see, this is just going north of Costa Rica, just south of Honduras. We do have some tropical storm watches out for Honduras, but really no concerns for Honduras as of right now, mainly the southern portion, for some considered rainfall potential there, or maybe a lot of flooding in some of these areas here. So since this is out of the United States, we do not have really any rainfall totals coming from the National Hurricane Center, but again, we do have those warnings and watches out. But my apologies, we don't really have any rainfall totals information right now. I don't have rainfall totals from the National Hurricane Center, but as you can see, we are looking at the GFS model for rainfall totals, total accumulated precipitation, and this is in inches. So as you can see, we are definitely getting a lot of rainfall in Nicaragua, and even though the center is not going over Honduras there, we are still seeing a lot of rainfall on the coastline, more the center portion of central area of Honduras. We are not seeing much rainfall at all, maybe up to 2 inches of rainfall, but again, more of those coastlines, northern portions of Honduras, we'll see most of that rainfall. As you can see, Nicaragua, pretty much the whole area of Nicaragua is going to see easily up to 6 inches of rainfall. So that's definitely a lot of rainfall. It's going to cause a lot of flooding here. Portions of Costa Rica also could see a lot of this flooding as well. For more of those higher elevations, could see definitely a lot of flooding as that rainfall treads down into those lower elevations of those mountains. So definitely stay safe out there if you do live in this general area of where Hurricane Julia is going to be impacting throughout the next 24 hours. You will also see some of those hurricane force wind gusts, possibly again in more of the center portion of Nicaragua where that is making landfall. European model is definitely showing a lot more rainfall for Nicaragua and also for portions of El Salvador and Honduras. A lot of rainfall that could cause a lot of flooding. If that does happen there, we could see upwards of 10 inches in some places and more of those yellowish spots, and that's more localized spots. But again, it could be definitely devastating flooding for some people here living in the path of Hurricane Julia. Now let's go and look at the long range model here for the GFS model, and as you can see, Hurricane Julia does make landfall later tonight into tomorrow morning on Nicaragua. As you can see, we move forward and we have those two high pressures up there in the Atlantic, but we're really not seeing much activity at all. As you can see, we're seeing some possible tropical waves, but not much development as we go throughout mid-October. As you can see, possibly some tropical waves in the Gulf, but really not much activity as waters begin to cool down in the Atlantic. We're still going to see possible disturbances in October, but it is going to generally start to drop down in activity as we enter later into October. And that's when we start talking about winter stuff. If you did enjoy the tropical update, again, I'm back with these daily uploads. I hope you do enjoy. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new. Turn on post notifications. I keep you updated with tropics, with daily videos, and also other extreme weather. There's not much weather going on in the United States. We are going to see an Arctic blast soon for the majority of the eastern half of the United States that will cause a lot of cool temperatures here. We are seeing some of those cool temperatures right now. Those Midwestern states is going to feel a lot like October here throughout the rest of October. It's going to feel a lot like a very cold fall this season. As always, like the video, share this with friends and family. But as always, I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe.